I used to believe that finding love after herpes was impossible and that I'd be alone forever. Turns out I was wrong, and what I learned may totally surprise you. Hi, I'm Dupree, and I help people to navigate life with herpes. For those that are new here, welcome, and for those that are returning, welcome back. Here at Herpes Wellness, we provide education, support, and empowerment for those living with herpes. And if you don't have herpes and you're just looking for more information, we're here to help you too. Now, each Tuesday, we post content on topics like finding love, navigating intimacy, dealing with disclosure, and more. And today, I'm going to share the exact mindset shifts that helped me go from never thinking I'd find love again to being in a relationship with someone who chose me, herpes and all. Look, let's get something straight. Finding love after herpes didn't come easy for me. I'm not going to lie. After I received my diagnosis, I was terrified to put myself out there, not just because of the fact that I had herpes, but because of what also came with that. The shame, the embarrassment, the judgment, and the intense fear of rejection. And I know I'm not the only one out here who feels this way. The majority of us have. Have you? Have you ever let your mind spiral with all the limiting beliefs we've been taught about what it means to have herpes? Beliefs like, no one's ever going to want me now. I'm going to be alone for the rest of my life. Or I'm never going to be intimate with anyone ever again. And because of these beliefs, you stopped putting yourself out there or even making eye contact with someone you felt attracted to because you were already running the whole disclosure conversation in your head, thinking the worst case scenario. Well, that was me. All of it. I felt that if I kept to myself, I couldn't get hurt. But the truth? Keeping to myself started to feel lonely as hell. And the longer I did that, the more I believed the lie that I'd never find someone who would love me as I am. Now, before we dive in, I want to start off by saying that what I'm about to share might sound a little different, maybe even unconventional compared to what you've heard before. In the 10 years that I've had herpes, I've heard people talk about how to manage symptoms and transmission, how to navigate intimacy, and how to disclose to someone, right? I've even talked about these exact same things because they're important and they're what everyone wants to know. But here's something I've never heard talked about like I'm about to do right now on this show. How to navigate the emotional toll that herpes causes and how to heal from the inside out so that you can walk through the world with confidence and without allowing herpes to define your self-worth. Look, I know this approach is very different and it may not be for everyone, but I feel it's important to share what I've discovered along the way, including why I let herpes control how I thought about myself and my love life and the steps that I took to eliminate those beliefs. Let's be real. Having herpes sucks, and the stigma it carries can be worse than the physical symptoms themselves. Honestly, I feel that the emotional roller coaster it puts us on far outweighs anything. Physical symptoms, they can be managed with medication, but what about the mental crap herpes causes? The fear, the shame, the anger, the embarrassment. And all of that, I found out along my journey that all of those beliefs not only come from what we're programmed to believe from friends, family, and the worst culprit, the media. They mainly start from within. And unless you address what's inside of you, it doesn't matter how many antivirals or supplements you take to control the physical symptoms. Herpes will still control your mind and your life if you allow it. After herpes diagnosis, your mind spirals out of control. You start running through all the worst case scenarios in your head, like, what if no one will ever want me again? What if I've ruined my life? How am I ever going to find love again? On top of that comes the self-blame. You beat yourself up like you did something wrong. You blame yourself or the other person or both. Now, blaming another person in some cases is totally understandable, because if someone knew their status and didn't disclose it to you, you've got every right to be pissed the hell off. But here's the thing. In the end, all of that negative self-talk and anger, it doesn't change the fact that you have it. And once you've gone through the exercise of working through all the emotions that come along with having herpes, which is a huge first step in order to begin the healing process, the next question becomes very clear. Are you going to allow herpes to control your life where you decide not to put yourself out there because you believe your dating life is over? Telling your friends and family that you're happy being single when deep down you crave having a life partner? Or is it going to be the other way around, where you decide to take your power back from herpes, where your diagnosis doesn't define you or your self-worth? I've been down both roads, and trust me when I tell you that taking your power back, as impossible as it may seem at first, can definitely be done, and also winds up being the better choice. I'll be real with you. I beat myself up for years after my diagnosis. And here's the irony. I chose to be in a relationship with someone who had herpes. I didn't let it be a barrier to being in that relationship. I accepted him for all he was, herpes and all, and I always knew that there was a chance of me getting it. But when it came to me, after I received my diagnosis, which was after our 10-year relationship ended, well, that was a completely different story. I turned on myself and told myself the harshest things. The way that I thought about myself completely shifted. I convinced myself that no one would ever want to be with me again, that I was damaged to goods. I refused to give myself the same grace and respect I gave him. After my diagnosis, everything in my life changed, especially the way that I saw myself. I thought herpes was the biggest problem. I figured I could just manage the outbreaks and I'd be fine. And when people would ask me why I wasn't dating anyone, I'd lie and just say that I wasn't interested and that I was totally fine being single. But the truth was, herpes wasn't the problem. It was the way I was allowing it to control how I thought about myself and my future. And one day, years after my diagnosis, I was done and I said no more. Here's the thing. After all the books I read, videos I watched, and healing classes I took part in over the years to get my mind right, there's one theme that kept repeating over and over again. You create your reality. What do I mean by this? The concept is very simple. If you believe that herpes holds you back from finding love, it will. For example, by allowing yourself to believe that herpes is a deal breaker and that no one would want to be with you again, you literally do things to prevent putting yourself out there. When you don't put yourself out there, you don't give yourself a chance to meet someone, which then creates your reality of being single. Does this sound familiar? I created that reality over and over again for myself. Have you? Now, you may be thinking, well, herpes is a deal breaker, and someone can and will say no to me. And is this also a reality? Yeah, it is. But it's what you do with the no's that create your reality. Do you let the no's defeat you? Do you let them define you or your self-worth? Or do you look at each no as an opportunity to find the right person, knowing that a person who says no to you just isn't your person? See, we all tend to look at herpes as something that prevents us from finding love. And I did that too. But when I started looking at it through a different lens, that herpes actually happened not to me, but for me so that I may find the right person, everything changed. Now, looking at herpes in this way doesn't happen overnight. It takes time and practice. You're literally making a choice every single day to shift your mindset, to see herpes not as something to dread, but as something that can actually shape you into a stronger version of yourself. And that shift can only happen when you learn this one thing. When you learn to love yourself, herpes and all. Because before you can find love with a partner, you've got to find love within yourself first. I mean, think about it. How can you expect someone else to see your worth if you don't see it yourself? How can you expect someone to love all of you if you're still rejecting pieces of who you are? For years, I didn't love myself. Like I mentioned earlier, I told myself I was damaged goods, And because of that, I literally accepted less than I deserved. But when I started to rebuild that relationship with myself, when I started showing myself the same compassion and respect that I had given others, everything shifted. I walked into relationships differently. I carried myself differently. I no longer came from a place of fear, but from a place of knowing my worth. And let me tell you, that's magnetic. Because when you love yourself first, you stop chasing people who aren't right for you, and you start attracting the ones who are. Now, self-love doesn't mean you're conceited, and it doesn't mean that you think you're better than anyone else. It means that you finally decide to treat yourself with the same respect, kindness, and compassion you give to everyone else. It means you stop tearing yourself down and you start lifting yourself up. It means you know your worth and you don't settle for less than that. So how do you show yourself love? Well, here's what you can put into practice immediately to shift your mindset. 1, watch yourself talk. Pay attention to the words you say to yourself. If you wouldn't say those things to a friend you care about, stop saying them to yourself. 2, set boundaries. When you respect yourself enough to say no to things that drain you or people who treat you poorly, you're teaching yourself that you matter. Here's an example. Say you're in a relationship with someone who's accepted the fact that you have herpes, but over time you realize they aren't treating you right. Do you stay out of fear that no one else will ever accept you? Or do you say, I deserve better and walk away? That's self-love. It's knowing your worth and refusing to settle for less just because you have herpes. 3, build yourself up. This isn't about surface level stuff like going shopping or getting your hair done or working out and other things like that. That's self-care. I'm talking about the inner work, like therapy, journaling, meditation, setting boundaries, keeping promises to yourself, or surrounding yourself with people who actually lift you up instead of drag you down. And here's the best part about self-love. When you learn to love yourself first, you start making better choices. You don't settle for less than anymore. You stop chasing people who treat you like an option because deep down you know you deserve respect. And because you know it, you'll get it. Now, I know herpes can make you forget about all of that stuff. It can literally trick you into believing that you're not worthy of love or that you should just take whatever you can get because someone accepted you. I believed that too for a really long time. But the truth is, herpes doesn't get to decide your worth. You do. And when you start from a place of self-love, all the no's you might hear, they don't bother you anymore. Because you know that they'll just lead you closer to the right yes. The yes from someone who doesn't just accept your diagnosis. They accept you. I mean, all of you. And that's the kind of love you actually want. The kind that's real, committed, and lasting. So, if you take anything away from this episode, let it be this. Finding love after herpes isn't impossible, but it must start with you. When you learn to love yourself first, you'll stop settling. You'll make better choices, and all the no's you hear will only bring you closer to the one yes that matters. The yes from someone who doesn't just accept that you have herpes, they choose you, all of you. And that's the kind of love you deserve from others. But most of all, from yourself. Well, that's all I have for today. If you liked today's episode, please like and subscribe to the channel. Also, I want to invite you to join our free online community by downloading the Herpes Wellness app. There you'll have free access to our forums where you can ask questions, seek advice, and help other members along their journeys. And for a limited time, anyone who signs up for the free support membership, we're going to upgrade you to the Connection membership, which includes access to a whole bunch of cool features, like a listing in our member directory and member search, direct messaging with other members, a group and Love Connection chat lounge, member-led events, both virtual and in person, plus monthly live streams with me where we talk about everything herpes. Now, normally this membership is $19 a month, but you're going to get this access for free for as long as you remain a member. And if you're wondering about privacy, we've got you totally covered. The app icon actually says H Wellness. So if someone happens to see your screen, you won't disclose your status unintentionally. So be sure to join us at Herpes Wellness. The link to download the app for both the App Store and Google Play is in the description box below. And if there are any herpes topics you'd like for me to discuss on the show, please leave it in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you the next time on the Herpes Wellness Podcast. Bye for now.